Vegetarians. Trouble is, they haven't got any energy.
Can he do it again?
They're a bunch of wimps. Shame, but there you go.
Dylan Mills back for more.
You can't build muscles on carrots.
Oh, he's got him off the bridge
And healthy? Who the hell are they trying to kid?
Great Britain with the red balls, it's Emil!
All over the place, she was like brilliant.
What do you reckon, Emil?
About who, Nikki?
About vegetarians.
They're okay.
No, come on. What do you really think?
Give me a second. They're all right. I bet you don't know what a real vegetarian is.
Of course I do. It's someone that doesn't eat meat.
No, someone who doesn't eat meat, fish, chicken, or any kind of slaughterhouse product. You know, gelatine, stuff like that.
Yeah, my point exactly. It can't be good for you.
I'm a veggie.
No.
Yeah. 10 years. 10 years?
Yeah, all right, but you're different. Name me one veggie that's ever done anything sporty.
Carl Lewis, remember him? 9 Olympic gold medals, the greatest athlete ever.
All right, okay. One more.
Martina Navratilova, the greatest women's tennis player, again, ever.
Oh, all right. One more.
Ed Moses, 1700-metre hurdler. Anyway, what's this all about? So, what should we be eating?
Meat. It's only natural.
Natural? So why don't you go over there and take a great big chunk out of those calves?
That is disgusting.
Where's your bloodlust? Your teeth wouldn't get past its hide. And where's your claws to grab it with? I'd like you to meet somebody. This is Dr. Chris Fenn, Doctor of Nutrition and Nutritional Advisor for the Everest Expedition, responsible for getting the first ever British woman to the summit and for expeditions to both the North and the South Pole. Tell me, Chris, do we have to eat meat? Is it natural?
It's natural for cats and dogs and lions and other animals to eat meat, but humans don't need to eat meat. In fact, right through our history, we haven't eaten very much meat at all. It's only recently that we've started eating more meat and more dairy products and things like saturated fat. Now that's unnatural, and that's not so good for us.
Yeah, but what about protein? We're told we have to eat meat because of protein.
A lot of people think that, but in fact you can get all the protein you need from eating vegetarian foods. Things like nuts and beans and tofu, they're really good sources of protein. And even things like spaghetti and bread have got some protein in. So provided you eat a range of these foods, you're going to get all the protein you need from a vegetarian diet.
So go on then, say it, Nikki. You can't get enough iron.
There's been lots of research on this, and the British Medical Association say you can get all the iron that you need simply by eating vegetarian foods.
Lots of vegetarian foods contain iron, but it's something that everyone, meat eaters and vegetarians, should watch, because iron deficiency is very common, particularly in young women, and it can lead to anemia. And the best way of avoiding that is to eat lots of fruits and vegetables, because they contain vitamin C, and it's vitamin C which helps your body to absorb iron.
Yeah, but what about all those other things that we miss out on by not eating meat?
Like what?
Well, you know, vitamins.
Vitamins are important, and it's true that meat does contain a lot of B vitamins, but so do lots of other vegetarian foods.
Most of the vitamins and minerals we need can only be obtained from fruits and vegetables. We can't live without them. That's how important they are.
What a complex whatnots.
Complex carbohydrates are what should make up the main part of our diet. It's what gives us energy, and if you're a sporty person, you need more of these. These foods provide complex carbohydrates. There's another important ingredient in a vegetarian diet, and that's fibre.
Yeah, I know it's important, but why?
Because it's what makes you go.
Go where?
Oh, you know. Oh!
Fibre is the indigestible part of the plant, and although it doesn't contain any nutrients, it's really important for health. It's important for your digestive system. It sweeps out all the toxins and all the poisons that you don't want. But it's not only what's in the vegetarian diet that's important, it's what's not in as well.
All meat contains saturated fat, even if it looks lean. Meat not only contains saturated fat, but cholesterol as well, and the body needs neither. They both play a big part in causing heart disease and cancer. Strokes, blocked up arteries, and high blood pressure are all much lower in vegetarians.
So are you telling me it's because of this health business that there's so many vegetarians?
Yes, that and the animals. I'd like you to meet somebody else. This is Juliet Kalani, founder of the vegetarian charity Viva, and author of books The Silent Arc and The Livewire Guide to Going, Being and Staying Veggie.
In Britain as a whole, there are around 5 million vegetarians, and there are lots of reasons for it. The two biggest reasons given by people are 1, to protect their health, and 2, to save animals from cruelty in factory farms and slaughterhouses. Have a look at this. Intensive farming is based on using the minimum space and feeding animals so they grow quickly and can be slaughtered as young as possible. This is where most of our pork, bacon, sausages, pepperoni and ham comes from. The sow has a natural urge to build a nest for her young, but that's not allowed. Nearly all sows give birth in a farrowing crate. Metal bars stop her from mothering her piglets. She can feed them, but nothing more. The piglets should suckle for 2 months, but after 2 to 3 weeks they're taken away. Home for most of them is a barren place of metal bars with no bedding and absolutely nothing to do. These highly intelligent, inquisitive creatures have an urge to explore, but the only thing available to them is each other's bodies. They fight and bully the weaker ones, and bite each other's tails, so badly that sometimes the piglets have to be destroyed. To try and stop it, their teeth are crushed with pliers, or their tails are cut off, or both, usually without anaesthetic. Eventually, the piglets are moved into concrete fattening pens. Research shows that pigs are even more intelligent than dogs, yet they barely have the space to move. Of course, piglets in the wild don't bite each other. They've got so many other things to interest them.
I don't understand it. If so much meat is produced and so many shops sell it, and we're constantly being told that it's good for us, what's going on? Must be helping to build muscles or something.
Believe me, you don't need meat to build muscle. That idea went out ages ago. Let's get one thing straight. The two biggest killers in the Western world are cancers and heart disease. The good news is that heart disease is really quite rare in countries which eat a largely vegetarian diet.
So what do you reckon, Nikki?
Okay, if a vegetarian diet's so healthy, how come we haven't been told about it before?
Well, we have. The World Health Organization and the British Medical Association have been telling us for ages. It's not new.
Vegetarians enjoy excellent health. Vegetarian diets meet recommended dietary allowances for nutrients. Protein is not a limiting factor. United States government.
Vegetarians have lower rates of obesity, coronary heart disease, high blood pressure, large bowel disorders, cancers, and gallstones.
Chicken's okay, isn't it? I mean, it's healthy. You're practically a vegetarian if you eat chicken.
So what tree did your chicken fall off of? Juliet?
Chickens that are bred for meat are called broiler chickens. They're kept in huge windowless sheds, as many as 100,000 birds at a time. With selective breeding and high-protein foods, they go from day-old chicks to fully grown birds in 6 weeks. They're killed while they still tweet like chicks and have a chick's blue eyes. If you compare their growth with a normal egg-laying chicken, you can see how fast it is. Their skeletons don't form properly, and because of this, their bones break easily, sometimes just from the weight of their bodies. On top of this, their legs and feet become deformed. Nearly 700 million chickens are reared every year in Britain, and research shows that 4/5 are affected. Many of them spend the last days of their life in pain. And more bones are broken when the chicken catchers come in and take them off to the slaughterhouse. Without the birds being fed antibiotics every day, diseases in the broiler sheds would spread like wildfire. As it is, these medicines still allow food poisoning bugs to grow, and they're spread from one carcass to another inside the processing plant.
I'd rather have turkey anyway.
Life's probably even worse for turkeys. It's hard to believe, but their ancestors still live in the wild in America and can fly at over 90 kilometres an hour. Some modern turkeys can hardly walk, and none can reproduce naturally.
Duck. That's really my favourite.
And it's much the same for ducks. Birds which have evolved to live with water, dive in it and feed from it, never even see water, except in their metal feeding tubes.
Fish. That's what I really like. Not a lot wrong with fish.
Listen to this, man. Alan Durnin, talking to us from the World Watch Institute, one of the most important environmental groups in the world. He's calling from Washington. Listen.
Hello?
According to the United Nations, the oceans of the world are faced with a catastrophe. Of the 17 main fishing areas, 9 are on the point of ecological collapse, and the rest are being fished to their limits. Quite simply, the world's oceans are dying just so people can eat fish, such as tuna. But it isn't just the fish that suffer. Nets such as drift nets can stretch up to 50 kilometers and kill whales, dolphins, sharks, rays, and even diving seabirds. It seems crazy, but much of the fish caught is fed to other fish in fish farms. In fact, all over the world, farmed animals are causing environmental damage. One of the greatest is the destruction of the rainforests.
Don't tell me the cows eat them.
These amazing wildernesses are home to nearly 1/2 of all the world's wild animals and the plants which provide many of our medicines. And unknown peoples still live in their depths. And what do we do with them? We cut them down. For what? Grazing for hamburger cattle. Central and South America are among the worst areas affected. The thin soil provides poor pasture and after just a few years turns to desert. Instead of rain being absorbed by the tree roots, it turns into floodwater and carries away the soil forever. In Africa and elsewhere, overgrazing by animals is causing deserts to spread, rivers to dry up, and soil to erode. Without topsoil, nothing can grow. Cattle ranching is one reason, but another is the growing of fodder in all countries, including Britain. Animals eat so much food that the land is pushed beyond its limits by the widespread use of fertilizers and pesticides. It results in a breakdown of the soil structure and erosion by wind and rain. Despite this, the number of animals keeps on increasing.
Eggs, Emil. What about eggs?
Well, there's eggs, and there's eggs.
I knew it. I knew it.
These are called battery cages. 5 fully grown hens in a space about the size of a microwave oven. Thousands of cages, tens of thousands of birds, all in one shed. It's the battery system that provides 85% of our eggs. Battery hens spend their entire life like this. The chicken's wild ancestor, the jungle fowl, only lays about 20 eggs a year, but the battery hen lays over 300. This takes so much calcium from her bones that they become brittle and easily break. According to government research, a third of battery hens have broken bones, and all of them suffer.
So when do they let them out? You know, for their holidays and weekend off?
They don't. So it's hardly surprising that they become stressed and frustrated and often turn to pecking each other. The common answer is to cut their beaks when they're chicks. Research has shown that the beak is a very sensitive organ, so sensitive that some chicks die of shock, some bleed to death, and others are in pain for their whole life. For every female, a male bird is also hatched. They can't lay eggs, and as battery birds have been bred to be scrawny, they're no good for meat, so they're killed, gassed or crushed and used for animal feed. The hens are usually killed before they're 2 years old for use in pies, pasties, soups and so on. The lucky few are bought by animal sanctuaries, and to begin with, they're completely bewildered. But they can recover. One of the first things they do is build a nest. Then they dust bathe and strut around for the first time in their lives.
So you care more about animals than you do about people?
So what are you doing for people?
Well, I don't eat them.
Exactly nothing. At least on a vegetarian diet, we save people.
There are many more farm animals in the world than there are people. That means they use too much land, they use too much water, and they eat too much food. And that's one of the reasons why the world's poor have to go without. Just look at America. The amount of soya and wheat they feed to their cattle alone would feed the entire populations of India and China.
Yeah, but at least we're okay in Britain.
In Britain, 90% of our farmland is used to grow feed for farm animals, and we still need lots more. We have to import huge amounts of food from the third world, countries where children are dying from starvation. 12 million die every year.
Why do they sell us the food if they need it themselves?
Because they're desperate for money, to pay off the debts to rich Western nations like Britain and America, and to buy products like oil. That's why they're growing so much animal feed.
But I don't understand. Why so much animal food?
Because it takes 10 kilograms of vegetable protein to produce 1 kilogram of animal protein.
You just think, if everybody ate a meat-based diet, the kind that a lot of people in America and Britain eat today, you couldn't even feed half of the world's population. And yet if everybody became a vegetarian, you could feed the whole world and more, and this is why. An area of land the size of 5 football pitches will grow enough meat to feed 2 people, maize to feed 10 people, wheat to feed 24 people, or soya to feed 61 people.
So animals eat most of the world's food, and that's one reason why there are people starving. I love my chili and my burgers and my sausages and my pies and all of that sort of stuff.
But you can have all of that on a veggie diet. I'd like you to meet somebody.
Hello, I'm Leslie. I love food and I love being vegetarian. It's one of the healthiest diets there is, and it's so easy to be veggie these days. There are so many wonderful foods from around the world, using a wide range of amazing vegetables, fruits and other plant foods, and even good old-fashioned roasts and grills. And if you're short of time or feeling lazy, every supermarket in the country now has a range of chilled or frozen ready meals. And many of them look and taste pretty much like meat, if that's what you want, except they're made from soya or wheat protein. Pies and pasties, bangers and burgers, pasta and pizza, even bacon and bolognese. To be in top health, you should eat at least 5 portions of fruit and vegetables a day. For ideas on what to cook, go to the Viva website and click on recipes. Ideally, you need to eat 3 or 4 portions of cereals and grains a day, such as wholemeal pasta, brown rice, oats and wholemeal bread. Another important food group is pulses, all kinds of peas, beans and lentils, as well as nuts and seeds. you need 2 or 3 portions from this group. And don't forget oil. Your body needs some good oil, such as unprocessed olive oil. And flaxseed oil is important too because of its omega-3. Most people don't get anywhere near enough of this essential fatty acid. If you're vegan and don't have any milk or dairy products, you must ensure that you eat some foods that contain vitamin B12. There are plenty. Lots of breakfast cereals, soya milk, margarine and yeast extract such as Marmite. Just check the labels. Stick to these few tips and you'll be as healthy as can be. So get cooking.
So what do you reckon, then, Nikki?
Well, as Pythagoras once said.
He was a veggie.
Okay, Einstein.
He was one too.
Anyone else?
Captain Kirk.